I love it because you can taste the herbs. You can, it has a little bit of tartness to it, and I think it'll complement most of all your salads. So if you're gonna serve it like this, just have like a little spoon available so that people can just, spoon it and drizzle it on their salad. Hi, I'm Amy, and I'm in my little kitchen, so thanks for joining me. Today we're going to make what I'm calling spring vegetable green salad. Well, instead of vegetables, because that sounds kind of like vegetables, like what? Usually I like to say veggies, but I don't know if I'll change the title to this recipe or not. But one of the things I really want to try and get into is really trying to focus on doing some recipes that are seasonal. And I thought, geez, spring vegetables, I don't even know what are considered spring vegetables because we can buy half the stuff, well, most of everything, all year long. The only thing you really can't buy all year long is a pumpkin or maybe some of the squashes because, they're not available. But strawberries, blueberries, I mean, in some parts of the country, why are we buying strawberries in the middle of February and we've got 3 feet of snow? I mean, but we also buy food all over the world. Anyway, I just think it's really neat to focus on your farmer's market and your grocery store because when you buy things that are in season, that will also be your most cost effective in buying more healthy food as well. So look for those sales. So anyway, we're doing some spring veggies, but first of all, I am going to start with making a dressing for this salad. And it's green goddess dressing. And I know there's a slew of recipes out there, but I haven't really made green goddess dressing in a very, very long time because you can buy it in a bottle. But when you make it your own, it's fresh. You can change up the herbs that you want to use and a whole slew of stuff. And so this dressing, I've got a lot of stuff combined in it. So I've got to put on my glasses because I can't even read my recipe all this way. So what I chose to put in this green goddess dressing, and a lot of it is about the herbs and some of the leafy things. So we're going to do a bunch of parsley. I have like 1 cup. We're going to do about, a cup of spinach here. This is fresh spinach. And I'm going to cut off the stems of a lot of this because you can use the stems in the green goddess dressing, but I don't know, these are more tubular, I just don't like it. Let's put it that way. But, the parsley, yeah, maybe you can use the stems, but I'm going to cut the majority of them off. So if you do have a few stems in it, that's okay too. But I just want more of the parsley. And so, okay, what else? Herbs. So I decided to do dill, chives, and tarragon, and then basil. So we want a combination of all of this, about a cup, give or take a little bit. It's you just add a little more olive oil or a little more sour cream or something like that. But I'm going to try and, make this all a cup. This a cup, the parsley, the spinach a cup. What else do I got here? Of course, salt and pepper. You need some acidity. So I'm going to do a little bit of lemon juice and a little bit of white wine vinegar. And of course, olive oil. Green goddess is kind of a creamy dressing. So I'm going to do a little bit of mayo and a little bit of sour cream. Now, if you don't want to use sour cream, you could use Greek yogurt or a non-flavored, obviously a non-flavored, just plain yogurt. I like to use full fat, but you could go a third fat. Your dressing may not be as thick, but that might be okay too. So let's get, oh yeah, garlic, can't forget about garlic. So let's get going here. I think the thing I'm going to do first is really kind of get some of my greens here. Oops, my lemon dropped. And I'm just going to kind of tear off a lot of these big parts of the stems. Where did I put that? I'm gonna put all those extra stuff there so I don't have it all crowding me. So I'm just gonna tear some of these bigger stems off the spinach because I think the stems are way too thick and basically I just don't like them. The thing I have to remember is I'm throwing the stem away and not the spinach leaf. Sometimes I get mixed up. That won't be the first time. But I really like this dressing because this dressing, you can back off a little bit maybe on the olive oil and make it a little bit thicker, and guess what? It turns into green goddess dip. And so if you really want a different kind of dip for your veggies or even mushrooms, you know, whatever you may include with that. This is probably more than a cup though. I might have to back off a little bit on this whole bunch of spinach because you want it packed down. I might actually have to use a measuring cup just so I can get a visual and you guys can get a visual on what I'm talking about. One of the things I wrote, you know, a little tidbit in this recipe is that once winter starts coming to an end and we're getting into spring and we're looking forward to summer and all that, I get so excited. We want to be in such a hurry to get, you know, into those fresh foods, lighter meals, get away from the heavier meats and the casseroles and the soups and stuff. But don't get me wrong, I still like soups in the summertime. I still like having, you know, maybe a lighter casserole, but a casserole in the summertime. You know, we still want to eat steak in the summertime. I definitely have a lot more spinach here than I need. So we're just going to kind of stuff it in here because you want it kind of compact. So I think that's pretty compact. So this is what we're going to use. We're going to dump this in here. And then we're going to save the rest of this. Okay, now the parsley. And what I'm going to do here is, because this is a little bit easier, I think, than the spinach was, I'm just going to cut a big chunk of the stems off. And there'll still be some stems here, just not as, you know, it just won't have all of this. There's some parsley leaves. Okay. This is a good dressing, and this dressing will keep in the refrigerator for a little bit too. And this dressing, because we're going to make a salad after this, this dressing I will have in a little bowl, and then people can put their own dressing on the salad, because I think often I've decided not to put dressing on the salad, depending on what salad that is, because I think salads can weigh, the salad dressing can weigh down your salad, especially if you have tender green leafy lettuce, and no one likes a soggy salad, you know. So I know I'm cutting out a little bit more of these, aren't I? I don't know. I should use the stems. Stems are good too. They got a lot of nutrients in the stem, but maybe because I'm just not used to it. So we're gonna, okay, is this a cup? I'm sure this is a cup. Yep, this is a cup. Okay. Cup of parsley. Whoa. And then we're gonna, because we're gonna process this all together, or if this is too much for you, process this a little bit and then do your herbs. But I am just gonna chop up some chives here. Just big cuts. I'm going to show you. And that's why if you do have if you're fortunate enough to have a little bit of a backyard, grow herbs. They're expensive in the store, especially when you're getting herbs that aren't quite ready to be available in your own garden. Herbs are expensive, and that's why I don't have very good dirt in my garden, and so I just grow herbs. And so I'm going to kind of expand my little herb garden there. This is tarragon right now, by the way. I don't know if I need all of it. Oh, it's so good. It almost kind of has this, like, I'm not going to say licorice, but kind of. It's kind of nice. I think that's what happens when you buy store-bought. Okay, I probably have a little bit too much tarragon because we also need basil. So I'm going to take some of this tarragon out. I got ahead of myself, people. I got so excited about the smell of it. So, okay, then we're going to have dill. And this, I'm just going to kind of pluck it off. But the big part of the stem I don't need. But yeah, as I was saying, I'm going to kind of redo my herb garden because I think I want a few more. Because like I said, herbs are expensive. So to tell you the truth, I'm probably going to put a little bit more than a cup of herbs in here. So I'm going to change the recipe that I have right here and maybe go a cup and a half. How about that? Because herbs are so tasty. They're just, they're just so good. Isn't it funny? I have my garbage bowl over here and I still put the garbage on the side. So the dill that I'm using, I probably use half a package of tarragon. If you find a package of tarragon in your grocer, I'm probably going to go ahead and use all the dill. It's so feathery and light. And then I always have a hard time keeping basil. Basil, I mean, it should keep around for about 3 to 5 days. If you do what I did. I bought it from the store because what I've read up, basil does not like cold. So I just put it in this jar here. But you know, we got some basil that doesn't look pretty. So I'm just going to try and take as much basil out of here as I can. But so I just put it in a jar of water, just have it in my counter. But I also put a little plastic bag over it. So you're almost kind of creating like a slightly, like a little greenhouse. And, you know, I let air get into it because you don't want it like a greenhouse because you don't want it too warm. But basil does better on the counter or, you know, like I said, with a plastic bag over it than putting it in the fridge. I've learned my lesson. Because again, basil is expensive. And if I had bigger property, I would have a whole raised bed just of basil, just herbs. There's nothing like using fresh herbs in your dishes. That's probably why I'm just going to love the salad dressing. I'm trying to get the best leaves because some of them have turned like this little, you know, dark spot here. You know, doesn't look too pretty. I mean, it's not going to kill you or anything, but you're using it in a dish and stuff. You don't want all these black stuff. Okay, just a little bit more, people.
I'm going to interject real quick. Sorry to eat again. Once you have everything in the blender, I'd like to take an overhead shot. So pause that if you can. There you go.
Oops. Look at what I did. See, I forgot that this was my garbage bag. I shouldn't throw good basil leaves in there. Oh, foolish. Okay. I don't know, that might be enough basil. Yes, it is squished down a lot. Because if you have the herbs too fluffy, there just won't be enough herbs for this green goddess dressing. And, you know, part of the recipe is because of the herbs. I forgot, let me see. Did I put on there where this was started? Oh yeah, this dressing was, from what I read, began in San Francisco at the Palace Hotel in 1923. So I thought, oh my gosh, this has been around for so long. Because I remember my mom probably not making it like this, because I don't think a lot of herbs and they were available in the store, but nothing compared to what we have now. And so she would buy the bottle dressing, and I remember having that, and it was just so good. And I was telling someone else, I think I'm kind of like going back to my childhood and doing a lot of these retro or recipes that have been around for a long time, but I'm just having a blast making them, you know, by scratch or whatever. Okay, so we're gonna add the herbs in here. Get them all out of here. And then if, you know, when we're all done, you're gonna wanna taste this to see if you need any more salt or pepper or a little more herbs, a little bit more of this and that. Okay, some reason I don't have this all together. Okay, lemon juice, vinegar, garlic. Okay. We're adding everything but the mayo and the sour cream. So that's all I need to know. Sorry, I didn't have this garlic prepped. You gotta get through all the paper stuff. And to me, it really depends on the size of your garlic, but you know, this isn't garlic dressing, so make sure you don't overpower it. But I think this is a good sized piece of garlic right there. And this is pretty good. So I say, how much did I say? 2 to 3, or no, 1 to 2 cloves. So I'm gonna use these 2. Get that in there. In fact, I did make this dressing probably about a month ago or 2 months ago or something like that, because I was going to Bunko, you know, with a bunch of friends, and I brought this as a dip with a platter of like mushrooms, carrots, and if I use a cucumber, I usually go English cucumber or zucchini. I usually go zucchini because I think those are better cut in little sticks. Anyway, the whole point being is that I have made this before, but I used it as a dip at the time. And everyone loved it. Everyone's like, oh my gosh, this tastes so good. You know, you'll have to share the recipe. You know, how'd you do it? And I said, well, I made it. And so sometimes people have not had this dressing at all, or it's been a very long time. And I love it when people have, you know, commented on Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen or the YouTube channel. You can always subscribe to that. Oh my gosh, I remember this as a childhood. I'm going to have to make this again, or my grandmother or my mom or something like that. And I'm like, this is great, because there are so many wonderful recipes out there, especially with what we now know about cooking and the ingredients we can get now. You can make food from all over the country, all over the world, really. But I think there's something to be said about some of these, you know, traditional, way back when kind of recipes. So I'm just kind of giving this a rough chop on the garlic. Okay, we're going to do that. I hope 2 cloves is enough. We're going to do, how much vinegar did I say I needed? About a tablespoon. Okay, well, that's probably about a tablespoon. I hope. Where'd my lemon go? Really? Seriously? The lemon fell on the floor? What? I'm just glad Daisy didn't get into it. She wouldn't have liked it anyway. It's too sour. And so I use a lemon press or the squeezer thing because, as I mentioned before, my hands just are not big enough to squeeze a lemon and get the juice out of it. And I think even if you're not going to use the zest, zest it anyway, but we will use some of the zest. There's nothing like fresh lemon zest. But I think even if you let this dry out, anything you put it in, like a baking or a chicken dish or something like that, the dried lemon zest will soften up and it still creates some good flavor. Okay, I think that's it, because all I need is about, what is it, 2 tablespoons? Okay. I'm gonna add the lemon zest. Oh, sorry, one little spot here. We're gonna do half of a lemon. And then look at all these seeds you have in here. Okay. Get my little handy dandy food processor here. I'll tell you too, that was probably only a tablespoon. Sometimes you have a real juicy lemon, and sometimes you don't. Or not as much as you think you want. That's about it. So I might go ahead and zest this whole thing, since I need more juice. Now, if you only have bottled lemon juice, I mean, that will work. I would probably back off on the 2 tablespoons and just go a tablespoon. I think it's a little more concentrated. But just play it by ear on that one. But I tell you, I love lemon. To me, I know I've mentioned this before, but it's like a little sunshine. It's like a little sunshine in your food. And who doesn't need a little more sunshine? Get some of these seeds out. Okay. There we go. Oops, cut off this end, because if not, doesn't work well. Okay. Oh yeah, definitely 2 tablespoons now. Oh, I forgot to tell you, one way to get a little more juice out of it is to roll it on the counter, kind of loosen it up a little bit. Okay, here we go. A little bit of salt. A little bit of pepper. And guess what, people? If you hear a little bit noise in the background, it's either my oven or we have someone that comes, because I don't even have a lawnmower. We have someone that kind of takes care of our little bit of lawn here, trimming our trees and all that other good stuff. Let me wash my hands here. And we're going to get ready to make it. Okay, so let's go. Okay, I will add a little bit of olive oil in here just to kind of loosen it up, but you'll probably need some more. because this is dressing. I don't want a thick dressing, but if you, I want it a little bit, how do you say, looser, more loose salad dressing, so you can kind of drizzle it over your salad and not have it end up in these big clumps. So let's see what happens. When something doesn't work on your food processor, it's probably because you didn't plug it in, you don't have this on well enough, and I didn't have the lid on. So now we're all ready to go. I'm going to use one of these just to push down some of this stuff a little bit. Oops. Oh dear. Got caught on the blade. Gonna add in a little bit more olive oil. So adding the olive oil, you just have to eyeball it. It depends on what you're using this for and how stiff, thick, or loosey-goosey you want it to be. Okay, so we need about a cup of mayo. And I guess I'll use a cup. An actual cup. I guess that would be helpful, huh? So yeah, just use your favorite mayo. Chris and I were watching this show on the History Channel, and it was all about the foods that made America. Very interesting. I loved it. It was like going back in my childhood when TV dinners were a thing. The difference between the different mayos, and then when Miracle Whip, and how how the two people in the companies, you know, were trying to outdo the other one in creating this cereal. Oh, between Kellogg's and General Mills and Post, and how all that came about, you know, here in America. And I thought, oh my God, this is great. I loved it. It was like going back into history. Yes, people, that's how old I am. Okay, so about a cup of mayo. And even though we got lemon juice and a little bit of white wine vinegar in here, sour cream will definitely add a little bit of tang. So I'm pretty much going to say that this is about a cup in here. Oops. Because I had about a half a tub here left. And this was 16 ounces. So I'll get rid of this later. Kind of clean it out. Recycle. I try and recycle. Okay, here we go. Oh, look at that. Isn't that just like a fun color? Now, if you were making green goddess dip, I would probably go with Greek yogurt. It's a thicker ingredient than maybe sour cream or something like that. But that way it won't be, the dip won't be too drippy. Probably added a little more olive oil in here than I needed. But I am going to taste it and see if I need anything. Oh, yeah, this looks good. Kind of scrape it down from the sides a little bit. Okay, here we go. It's kind of fun. Can I have another taste? I'll have to get another spoon for that. I'm just going to add in a little bit more salt. Just a little bit. No, I think this is really good. Okay, let me get a nice bowl to put this in. Look at that, isn't that a nice bowl? Kind of make it decorative. Oops, not a knife, Amy. Okay, the one thing when you do this, just make sure your blade doesn't come out with it. Ooh. Oh. Mmm. I love it because you can taste the herbs. You can, it has a little bit of tartness to it, and I think it'll complement most of all your salads. So if you're gonna serve it like this, just have like a little spoon available so that people can just, spoon it and drizzle it on their salad. So this is green goddess dressing. You can use it as a dip. But I wanted to show you. But yeah, see, it's a little, I think it's a good consistency for a dressing. If you did want this a little bit thicker, instead of sour cream, I'd probably use a Greek yogurt. But anyway, can I go ahead and lick the spoon? Can I? Can I? Mmm. So this is green goddess dressing. Check it out over there at Amy Roloff's Little Kitchen, or go to my YouTube channel, subscribe. I would love it. But you'll find this recipe and a whole bunch of others that I hope you will enjoy and make some of them for your family. So thanks for being in my little kitchen.